Welcome back, every pony. Today we have a much longer version of Pastel Pony Podcast. Today is Monday, September 12th, 2011. And this is the recording that should go along with Past Sins Prelude. So let's jump right on into it. First off, we have the slight discussion about past sins. Oh my bronies. My little bronies. It was long and ridiculous. It's actually shorter in the final cut than The Girl, the Gator, and the Tanuki was, but the editing took forever. And the prelude is about 3,000 to 4,000 words shorter than the average chapter length. I am still extremely excited to get to it, but I'm also a little bit hesitant just because, as I've said before, I really love Nyx, and I still haven't quite figured out the voice for her. In addition to that, I'm still not sure how I feel about the voice I decided to use for Spell Nexus. We'll see. I could go either way on it. It mostly depends on how you guys respond. I guarantee it is not how you heard it in your head. It's not how I hear it in my head. I'm not even sure how I hear it in my head. But my head is full of oatmeal. So, that's the little bit about past sins. Next, we have, let's see. Oh, I wanted to start a new segment wherein I will talk to you ponies about the fics that I've been reading lately that I may or may not ever end up actually getting to record, but that I would recommend you read at some point if, in fact, you spend most of your time reading pony fanfics like I do. One of my favorites that is getting much longer and probably will never get read unless you guys really, really like the idea is Sepia Talk, which, for those of you who haven't seen it yet, it's taking Dr. Hooves and making him a clockmaker who is not actually Dr. Hooves, but everyone thinks he is. And the irony and the just sort of grumbly, spiteful old man who's actually kind-hearted, it's really, really well written, and it comes off really, really... It's a heartwarming story, and it's a fun thing to read. And in addition to that, thanks to PatTap3, I managed to finally, as of earlier this morning, finish going through all of the recommendations for the Happy Luna fic. The runners-up were, or I suppose the contestants, since I haven't actually picked a winner yet, I'll be recording tomorrow. The contestants were the Sock Swap, which was my personal favorite thus far, and then PatTap3's recommendations, which were Luna's Gift, A Night to Remember, Tonight I Shall Be Laughter, Slander, and The Misadventures of Luna. Now, in becoming a major part of the pony community, I've had to sort of teach myself that, because let me say, I don't know if any of you ponies know this, but I started all of this sort of like fanfic recording with My Immortal. And when I get the website up and running, I intend to actually put that up there, but I'm not putting it here for two reasons. I'm not the only one reading it, and they are really long and not safe for work or minors recordings. Believe me, there is an extraordinary amount of anger as well as talking about alcohol and actually recording with alcohol. So, don't drink if you're underage. Obi-Wan says not to drink. But anyways, the Sock Swap was probably my favorite, but it may be because it was the most well written. I think that a lot of the other ones had a better plot, but like I said, I've only read these 6 from the Happy Luna contest, and I took my own fic out of the running, and promised not to plug that here, so we'll ignore that. Anyways, I'm leaning towards The Misadventures of Luna right now because it's a little bit shorter than most of the other ones, and it also has Big Macintosh in it, who I love. And of course, if I love Big Macintosh and Luna, you're going to get that kind of thing from me. But I want to say that all of the other ones that were chosen for me to go through were amazing. Not necessarily the writing, because there were a couple that were really rough, but the plot and the execution were really well done. For example, I'm thinking that I may actually even save tonight or Slander for a later recording, because it doesn't really fit with the theme that I'm sort of messing with right now, which, if you haven't guessed, is non-existent. But I don't know. I'm not feeling recording that one right now, but I really loved it because, oh, I know why I didn't want to do it. The reasoning is because it's got Ditzy and Dinky in it, and the girl who's been doing those recordings is so amazing that I can't even bring myself to try to give either of them a voice. But Slander is a really great story. I think that all of you should go read it as soon as you're done listening to things. Not right now. Where are you going? No, come back here. A Night to Remember was cool. Luna's Gift was cool. And Tonight I Shall Be Laughter was interesting. But The Misadventures of Luna was probably my favorite, even above the sock swap. I guess, so that's probably what you'll get either later this week or next week, depending on how long it is in the recording and how long the edit takes. If, by some miracle, I actually do manage to get it recorded and edited this week, you may get Past Sins 2 next week. Or 1. Past Sins 1 next week. We'll see. Now, since I'm already halfway through my time, I should probably speed this up a bit. I have a couple of other questions. First off, do I take requests? Yes, absolutely. There are a couple of requirements, and here they are. 1. Anything that's super grisly and grimdark, I may do eventually when I have the website. I will not do them now. Just because, as I've said, I would like to be a voice actor someday, and I may need to use this particular account to show to employers. And therefore, no cupcakes or anything worse than that on here. The other requirements are, similarly, I'm not too keen on shipping fix on YouTube. If it's light, I'll make an exception, especially if I really like the characters. And besides that, nothing that is super long, because I don't want to start something else that's going to be really long when I've got The Hitchhikers, or So Long and Thanks for All the Ponies going on, as well as Past Sins. So I'm sticking more to one-shots right now until one of those finishes out. Because I noticed that the guy who's writing Antipodes was actually looking for people to do live recordings. And I love that story. It's turning out so well. It's well written, and it's pretty. It's got a good story. It's got great OC characters. And I just don't have time right now. So, if you have a longer story, but it is complete, like less than 10 chapters, I will think about it. I'll give it a read, and if I like it, I will go ahead and record it. As long as it's not too grimdark or too shippy. And that's about it. So, what else do we have here? Ooh, yes! Super Philly Adventure. Go play it. And don't play it between the hours of 11 p.m. and 6 a.m. unless you want the horrible, scary ending that involves cupcakes. And apparently you can actually reset your system time, and that is sufficient. So if you really want that ending, and you're like me and had to know, enjoy. Just remember, there's a reason they call it a hacksaw, even if it doesn't hack. And okay, so one more question, and then the final question. All right. The new... actually, this isn't a question, but new image. I don't know who made most of the images that make up this one. I don't know the amazing guy slash girls who did the background image. Luna's the only one who's actually from the series. The Derpy, the Octavia, the Nyx, and the Lyra, or Lyra, however you prefer to pronounce it, is all fan art. And I would love to give these bronies credit because they are amazing images. And I just wanted some way to differentiate Pastel Pony Podcast from Voces Sueños After Dark. Now, on to the final question because I'm running out of time. What do I want to see in Season 2? First off, I just saw, I couldn't help myself. Equestria Daily posted a wonderful, wonderful thing from Wired, which was a video spoiler from the very first opening episodes that were supposed to be part of last season, and they have Discord in them, and he has a voice. And oh, it's Q from Star Trek. Any of you who know what that means know that it's going to be amazing. If you can handle the spoilers, the minute clip, go watch it. Go watch it now. As for what else I'd like to see, I've gotten to the point where I hardly even like the main characters over all of the background characters because I've spent all summer on Equestria Daily doing these podcasts, writing up fics, doing paintings and drawings and all of these things. And I've just gotten to the point where I don't really want to see anything but the background. I want to see more Derpy. I want to see an entire season that is devoted to her and Luna and Octavia and Lyra and Bonbon and every pony else that isn't part of the main cast. And actually, besides that, I would also really like to see a lot more characterization for Applejack, who came off as really flat by the end of the season. It's never going to happen, but I would also love to see them switch Dash and Applejack's elements because it makes more sense. And I suppose finally, I would really like to see a lot more of Big Macintosh. I don't know why I like him so much, but I just think it would be cool to just see more of him and have him actually have a character. And, obviously, more Cutie Mark Crusaders. I hope that them getting their cutie marks is a season or two off, at least, but I also hope that they get them before the series goes away forever. Besides that, a lot of ponies are talking about how they want to see an overarching story. I kinda don't. I like the slice of life thing because most of what I watch is long overarching stories. A lot of what I'm reading is long overarching stories. Every day at work is a long overarching story, except it's told the same way every day. So, when I say that I like the slice of life, it's because it just sort of reminds me how to calm down and smile. I don't know what else I really want from it. When I saw the Green Lantern movie, because that is my favorite superhero, I went in with Mobius's expectation of a green crayon film over everything and some words and pictures. And I was pleasantly surprised. So similarly, I'm setting my expectations very low for Season 2. Not because I expect it to be bad, but because as long as my expectations are that low, it is highly unlikely that they will not be met. So I want... My greatest expectation is more Luna, and that's it. So keep the questions coming, and if not, you'll have much shorter Pastel Pony podcasts. And if so, maybe we'll have to break these into two-parters like past sins. Alright, I will catch you bronies elsewhere on the internets.